And so we get to see a lot of different things happening all the time. So we're getting like data, we're just seeing how consumers react to like a spread of things. And what I want to do today is, this is Digital Marketing Bootcamp. I just really want to talk about marketing because this digital moniker is kind of, it's just become ubiquitous at this point. And I want to even zoom out further from marketing and give you guys some like cheat codes. Okay, so I don't know what they talked about at the P&G session. I don't know what they talked about at the Cisco session, but what I want to talk about today, if you can understand these things, and I would even encourage you guys to take some screenshots of this deck. If you can understand these things and like hold true to them in your marketing career, you will be able to get through a pandemic as a business. You'll be able to transcend technology evolution, things like this. So I just really want to zoom out and just understand like why we're here and what is the through line between everything and this thing called digital marketing. So like I said, we're Darkroom. We work with a lot of different startups and bigger companies. We call ourselves Darkroom because a darkroom is the embodiment of art and science coming together. So in marketing, you need both functions. You need the art and you need the science. When we talk about digital marketing, you probably are thinking about these names. But like I said, I wanted to zoom out and just really kind of remind ourselves like why we're here. As marketers, we're here to make change happen, whether that is really small change, like if you're marketing for a dry cleaning shop, you're trying to help people who are angry about spills and stains become people who are happy with their clean clothes. If you are working for Apple, you are, creating a much more efficient human race. If you're Elon Musk, you're getting us to other planets, right? You're taking something in state A and bringing it to a better state B, hopefully. And so we try to increase revenue to empower that change. And as marketers, we strategize, we test, we invest to increase that revenue to empower that change, right? It all ladders up to those things. So it's just important to remember, like, why are we even talking about business in the first place? What is the purpose of it? It's to create this change. And now what I want to do is I'm going to talk a lot about brand today and things that seem unrelated to digital marketing. But to me, marketers are like mini angel investors investing in different communication vehicles, like you see on the screen right now, to achieve a return. And traditional marketing before digital marketing wasted a lot of money because of their ignorance. They didn't have a lot of data. They were just sort of putting things out and flying by the seat of their pants, hoping people bought their product. In the digital economy, there's still a lot of wasted money, and it's because it's a lot more of a complex environment. You have all of these platforms. What do I invest my time and my money in? You can just become a hamster on a wheel if you go too micro. So it's important to go macro and build brand as an asset. And so that's really what I want to talk about today. So at Darkroom, we work with, like I said, a lot of different companies. We worked with this company that sold this product, very unsexy water purification system. We worked with this company, Necessaire, that is a body wash, soap, shampoos, conditioners, very sexy company. We've worked with a company that makes autonomous security robots for malls and schools. We've worked with Olipop that creates healthy sodas and is reinventing soda. And what I'm going to talk about today is relevant to all of these companies. And even we worked with UNC on their Spark orientation program, and this still applied to that. So what we do is we do four main things. These are what we believe, the four essential components to any marketing infrastructure. You have brand identity design, digital design and development, content production, and growth marketing. I'm going to talk about brand and marketing and the continuum between the two today. All right. So a lot of people think brand is this: logo, colors, shapes, like how does a company look? What are their symbols? But really, this is just their identity. It's like Tony Hawk Pro Skater. It's like picking your outfit, your haircut, stuff like that. How are people going to identify with you or identify you in a marketplace. A brand is actually just reputation. So you could just, it's synonymous. You could say brand equals reputation. And if you want to break this down further, we can define a brand as a promise performed consistently over time. Break that down again, you have promise performed consistently over time. So the promise really is the vision. It's the story that you invite people to believe. It's basically, you're saying, I'm taking you from this state to this state, right? We worked with a company called Woven that helps couples who are thinking about getting pregnant plan for becoming pregnant. And so what we did is we said, okay, we're helping couples become proactive, optimistic planners for the sake of having healthy children. So those couples maybe before were not organized, we make them organized. Nike helps everyone on earth become an athlete, right? That's their sort of promise. Perform consistently is really, that has to do with your voice, the value you create, communications, the experiences that you can create and you invite people into, and that creates authenticity. So a lot of people talk about authenticity. We need to be authentic. Who are we? You are only as good as the amalgamation of all the experiences you create. So forget about authenticity, focus on consistency. And then you have this function of time. And, you know, as marketers, we should be very concerned with time, pushing through time. And what I mean by that is like helping our companies and our brands last for a long time. And we do that through new value creation. And we do that by anticipating and acting on new customer needs. So these three things, I would just screenshot this and just like apply this to any company you work at, anything you do, make sure you have this as a solid backdrop. The reason being, marketing tactics will change over time. Your sales will fluctuate, but your branding should remain the same if you've really thought it out. And by reinvesting in it, you're creating an asset on your balance sheet. So I actually want to really impress you with this fact. Branding, your brand is an asset. It will help differentiate you in a market. And let me just give you a very specific example that anyone can understand. If you go on Amazon, you can filter by lowest price, right? If you're playing that game of lowest price, you're gonna burn out. It's gonna be hell on earth for you. So what you want to do is create brand, and what brand is it's empowering people to go out of their way to seek you out and purchase your product. If I want really comfortable clothes, I'm going to go out of my way to go to Lululemon. I don't want the cheap alternative. I want that. I want that experience and I want that product. And they created that through their brand. So we have to be willing to achieve this first and know your screen didn't break. This is what we need to do in order to get to this. You have to get that first pixel right in order to achieve the masterpiece of your brand. So if you put that into numerical terms, if you're trying to sell a new product, you know, and you're trying to come up with a marketing plan, really what we want to do is not try to focus on this entire graph of early adopters, you know, normal adopters, late adopters, everyone under the sun. We want to focus on these people, the people who are willing to take a risk on us in the beginning and create and form that relationship. Just to use the Lululemon example again, you know, they created a cult following within the yoga community. That was this portion of the graph. So if we focus on that, we can establish a great brand in a microcosm, and then we can scale that. And as marketers and as digital marketers, that's what's so exciting, is that we can scale that beyond belief in today's economy. So how do we do that? First, we have to just understand, what are we providing people? And this is an ever present, ongoing sort of, you know, audit and review. Everyone knows Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Every brand and product is usually a combination of these things. They offer a combination of these things, and we need to really understand as marketers that we're not just selling like a physical product, we're actually fulfilling someone's internal needs and wants and desires. Now this is a cheat code right here. Okay, so what we do is we take those needs and then understanding those needs, we create value based on that, and then we create an experience that applies to this like feedback loop and this journey right here. So this is really the sort of fundamental, essential user journey, especially in the digital economy. But this will be true really forever. And I know I'm like probably low on time. I'm going to try to like just breeze through this stuff, but if we want to come back to this in the Q&A, we can. But you have paid and organic channels, which is basically like awareness, like we're just talking to people, talking at people. They get brought into our owned experience on e-commerce or like whatever our sales channel is. They see and touch our product, they check out, they purchase, and then we try to retain a relationship with them, and then the cycle just like repeats. And so as marketing people, we need to consider every touch point that's on this chart right here. We need to consider it and seek to elevate every little bullet point here. That's actually our job as digital marketers. It's not just to figure out how am I going to advertise on Facebook. It's like, how do I increase the website experience that when someone comes from Facebook, that experience wows them, is frictionless, is awesome, and causes them to convert. And then once they convert, how do I then follow up and provide them more value over time? So this is a really important graph. I'm going to keep it going. So touch points create remarkability. Remarkable equals magnetism. What this means is, what I'm trying to say here is, the definition of remarkable is something worth remarking on. So if we create an amazing end-to-end touch point experience, people will just organically talk about us, talk about our companies, our brands, and do the marketing for us. So this is really what we're trying to achieve. All right, fine. I promise now I'm going to talk a little bit about digital marketing just really quickly. So then the question becomes, okay, where do I invest my time and my money? You have all these different channels. As a company with maybe not a lot of money, you're going to want to invest on the like left portion here in platforms that have really high levels of organic reach. These are like newer companies with newer features, like TikTok, LinkedIn is becoming, is really great for B2B outreach. And you can just, basically what this means is you can post for free and the algorithm will send your content to as many people as possible because they're trying to increase engagement on their platform. Whereas platforms like Instagram, YouTube, they're in the middle, but everyone's on them already. So it's just a little bit tougher to get that organic reach and you need to spend more money. And then you have Hulu, Amazon, streaming platforms where you have to bid and pay a lot of money to get a commercial. So it's just important to understand, like, where does your customer actually hang out? Where would they have purchase intent, or what context would they have purchase intent in? And how can I allocate funds in the best possible way? And how can I allocate my time in the best possible way? Like, if you're just starting out, you don't need to create content for every single platform. Just create it for like 2 or 3, figure that out first, and then figure out how do I scale that infrastructure across all these platforms. This is a little cheat code for you. If you're really interested in digital marketing, go to Facebook Ads Library, type Facebook Ads Library into Google. You can search like any company that's advertising on Facebook, and you can look at all the ads that they're running on Facebook. And it's really cool to see. And what we see is a spectrum of content being created. So whereas before in traditional marketing, you had brands investing a lot of money in really highly produced ads and commercials, like Super Bowl type stuff. Now we see that they're still doing that to some degree, but then there's a spectrum of high fidelity all the way down to like lower fidelity stuff, depending on the platform that the creative is appearing on. So for instance, if you're on like Hulu or Amazon, you see a commercial, it's better produced, there's better lighting, obviously more money went into it. If you're on like Facebook, Instagram, you might see like on the right side here, like a really basic like Instagram story looking video, and those perform really well because they feel native to the platform. They feel genuine on that platform. And so, you know, in this digital marketing economy, one of the huge benefits is that we can test stuff out. And that's what we should be doing all the time with the resources that we do have, is testing what works for our customer per platform, and how are we reinvesting in our brand. Like we don't want to do anything that really devalues our brand too much. And then you have these retention channels, creating relationships. You know, you have Facebook Messenger, email, SMS. My point in showing this slide is really that once we create desire, we then need to reduce friction as much as possible. So to create desire, we need to test like new value creation. We need to look at the product that we're actually selling. As marketers, we shouldn't just take a product for granted and just be like, this is what I have to sell. There's nothing I can do about it. The product is key. It needs to be relevant and needs to meet people's needs. And if it doesn't, our job is going to be so hard, you're not even going to want to do it. So we need to focus on product, content, positioning, pricing. All these things create desire inherently. And then on the back of that, once we've created that desire, it's like, let's remove any barrier we possibly can to get purchases through the door. So we increase trust. We look at the entire user journey map. We personalize as much as possible. The companies that you all love to engage with, I guarantee you are doing all these things if you think about it. And the companies that aren't, you're wondering like, why don't they know me? I've shopped at J. Crew. I've shopped at, you know, I've gone to Chipotle every single day. Why don't they know me? You know what I mean? So there's a lot that we as digital marketers could be doing, and bigger brands could be doing. Which leads me to my final piece here, which is, okay, what does this mean for you? I recommend to everyone here, if you're interested in marketing, I recommend going to work for a small company that has a small budget for marketing, so that you can learn and you can invest in your own pattern recognition. And you could go work for a large consulting firm, as long as you're on a small team that has limited resources. What this does is it forces you to be real, accountable, and only invest in things that make sense. And then you increase your pattern recognition, which just means you're increasing your common sense. And common sense allows you to anticipate what customers might want in the future. Like you just use your common sense. Like everyone here, we use Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. We use all the platforms that we just saw on the previous slide. And we inherently do certain things. Like we follow certain people. We don't follow other people because it just we don't care about it. So we should just bring that into our marketing strategy. Like, what do people actually care about? How do we make things faster for them? Like, what are they actually going to do if given the opportunity to do it? You know, if I can just order milk from Amazon Alexa, and I can just say, hey, Alexa, just I need a gallon of milk by Wednesday. I'm going to do that. It's a lot faster. That's just common sense. So I highly recommend doing this, because otherwise, if you work at a huge company, they probably have a really frothy environment and budget, and you know, you're just going to be spending dollars and kind of wasting money and not learning a ton. So a little bit of shots fired there, but like, I just trust me. I highly recommend this, especially while you're young, and you have the advantage of being practitioners, like just naturally. You know, we're all on social media. So if we combine that with the ability to use company money, we can learn a ton. Finally, this is just one of my favorite pictures, and this is what we're trying to create all the time: the moment of bliss in a dark world.